Okay, so excuse my voice. You know my voice is going out. So when we looked at your learner profile that we filled out together a couple of days ago, we talked about a lot of things, but at the end, we talked about things that were important to you that you thought you needed to improve on or do better at. And you put two things. You put inferencing and you also put character traits, but you wrote that character traits was what you felt like was the most important thing you needed to work on. So I went and I looked at some of your data to see if that matched with what you were thinking. So when I look at your data, I looked at the ACP first. That's the big test that we took in December. And you got a 50 on character traits. So there's a lot of room to grow there. And then I also looked at your data tracker that we've been working on this year in class. And one of the things that you needed help with before was character traits. You scored almost there, which is about a 70. So I think getting a 50 and a 70 definitely means that that's something that we could work on. So then I looked at your map data, and that's the one that shows us what you still need to work on. And it said that for character traits, you might need some extra help with how characters are feeling and thinking and how characters change over time. So looking at your ACP and your data from class, do you think that character traits is still something that you want to set a goal for yourself for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're going to take that and we're going to work on a SMART goal. And we've used this in class, so it should be familiar to you. So what we want to start with is the S for specific. So we want to put a specific goal here. So we don't want to just put character traits. Now that we looked at map, what do you think you could put in the S for a specific goal for yourself?
I want to get better at character traits, character stats, and state of mind.
And how they change. Okay, so let's write that very specific goal that you're going to work on how characters feel and think and change over time. So I'll give you a second to write that. So the M is for measurable. When we looked at our learner profile together, you said that you like to practice meeting your goal, or you like to know that you met your goal through a test. So if we're using a test as our measure of if we met a goal or not, we know that to get to I've got it on our data tracker, we have to score an 80 or better on that test. So let's put that for measurable. You're going to score it. You'll know you've met it when you made an 80 or better on the test. Now the A is for attainable. That's how you're going to meet your goal, like the steps that you're going to take. And what we want to do is we want to make a very specific plan for ourselves. So we're going to use two things. We're going to use our planning sheet that we're familiar with because we use it every week in class. Use that. And we're also we're also going to look at a couple of activity options that I have for you. Okay. So we know that when we practice goals in class, we practice for 2 weeks because that gives us plenty of time to practice in different ways and to check in with me. So we're going to work for 2 weeks on this goal. So I have a choice board here for you, and I put some activities that you mentioned in your learner profile. So you said that you like task cards and you like projects. You said that you learn best through writing, so I added journals, and that you like to work with me if you need help with something. So all of those are on there, but I also put 2 extra activities because they're things that you already know how to do. So I put sticky note mats and Education Galaxy mini lessons. So you were going to have other work to do as part of your regular classwork. So we just wanted to choose 2 things for that first week, 2 ways that you want to practice your goal. So you can go ahead and circle 2 ways that you'd like to practice. So you're going to use journals, okay? So you'll get a passage and some short answer response questions. And then teacher small groups. So you'll work with me on character traits. So you know that you get to choose what day. So do you want to work on journals by yourself and then get some help from me? Or do you want to start by getting help from me and then going to journals?
Help.
Okay, so you're going to work with me. Okay, you chose Monday. Okay, and you chose journals for Tuesday, so we can work together. And then on Tuesday, you'll practice on your own. Now, Fridays we know are our check-in days. So on Friday, we're going to do two things that first week. We're going to take a really short exit ticket just to see how you're doing and if there's anything that we need some extra help with. So you'll take that exit ticket and then you and I will meet. So if you want to put that on your Friday schedule, there you go. And then put that we'll meet as well to go over your exit ticket and talk about any next steps. Okay. So we'll keep this because you're going to add other things from class to it, but you've already got your goal work for the first week.
Okay.
Now, the second week, because you know we always practice for 2 weeks, the second week, we're going to pick 2 more activities. You can pick teacher table again if you want as well, or you can pick different ones. So I see you're picking project and task cards. Okay. So before we pick a day, we know that projects normally in here take 2 or 3 days.
Mhm.
So this project for character traits is going to be really similar to the one you did with the Lorax, where we wrote down his feelings and his thoughts and how he changed. So it'll take a little while. So, okay, you're going to start on Monday.
Mm,
And then you'll do task cards the next day. So just remember, if you don't finish your project, you can keep doing it Tuesday and you'll just push task cards back. Okay. Now, for that Friday check-in, what we'll do is we'll meet and we'll talk about your project. So you know that for all of our class projects, I always give you a rubric so that you can see what you need to do to show what you know. So this project is going to be out of 100. So if you make an 80 or higher, that's a really good clue that you'll probably meet your goal when you go to take your test. So at this meeting on Friday the 25th, we'll talk about your project, go through the rubric, and it'll be your last sort of chance for us to talk about anything else that might be confusing you, okay? So let's add that to the attainable. So for week 1, let's write down those activities that you chose, and then we'll write down week 2. Okay, now the R in SMART we know is for our reason. So that's why you want this goal. Now, when we met for your learner profile, you said that sometimes when you read, you feel like you don't comprehend what you read, especially when it comes to the characters. You don't remember the things that they're doing. So that could be a reason. You can also add some of that data that we talked about as well from the ACP in your data tracker if you'd like to. So I'm going to give you a minute to write down your reason. Okay, so you wrote, I want to better comprehend what the character's state of mind and thoughts and feelings are. Okay, our last step is to pick a date when we want to have met our goal by. So since you're wanting to meet your goal through a test, when we want to practice for our 2 weeks, about 2 weeks from now would be February 28th. So that's going to be our date of completion. So if we want to write 2/28 and then test next to it, so you know that that's the day that you're going to retake that character traits test. But we also want to write our 2 check-in days. So our check-in for the first week is on February 18th. That's what we put on our planner. So you can just put check-in 1. And at that meeting, we'll see if there's anything else that is stumping you and keeping you from getting where you need to be. And then our second meeting is on Friday, 2/25. Then you can just write check-in 2. Okay, so just to review, your goal is to get better at knowing the character's state of mind and thoughts and feelings and how they change. You'll know you've met your goal when you take a test because that's how you like to meet your goal. You'll get an 80 or better because that'll put you at I've got it. You'll know you can meet your goal because on week 1 you've chosen to work on small groups with me and then journals. And then we'll have our first check-in on the 18th where you'll do an exit ticket and we'll meet. And then week 2, you chose to do the character project and task cards. And we'll have our final meeting on the 25th to just sort of catch anything else you need help with before you take that test on the 28th.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
No.
Okay, just know that this will all be on Seesaw for you. So you'll have your normal playlist and then you'll have your goal setting playlist as well. And then we can comment back and forth with anything that we need through that Seesaw playlist.
Okay.
Great, thank you.